It's just been 40 minutes into council, and we understand that what's going on right now inside is that councillors are signing the register, as well as the legal department in the city of Johannesburg, just confirming that the council members has enough members in council today to then continue, which means that, council then corates and they can continue. But you will remember that we have heard from various political parties since yesterday, but we haven't quite been able to speak to the Democratic Alliance. I'm joined by the Gauteng leader, the leader in the province, who's going to speak to us about today, as well as comments made by the Action SA yesterday, saying that the Democratic Alliance has abandoned its own candidate and embarrassed your candidate. Your thoughts on those words?
Well, Mbali, thank you very much, and good morning to the viewers at home. This is but a strategy and a trick. While Action SA is busy with what we call a reverse takeover, they want us, and they want South Africa to focus on something else. There's no division between us and Mayor Mpho Phalatse. You remember the Democratic Alliance paid a hefty price in going to court and to reverse the situation. None of them were there. We were there, we stood by our mayor, we made sure that, the illegal practice that was taking place in this particular house was stopped, because we believed not only in her, but we believed in the cause that we were on. And, it is really something that South Africans need to be very much aware of, that what Action SA and even the Patriotic Alliance is doing is to take away the attention from what is actually really happening.
And what is really happening?
Well, I'll tell you what is happening. While we're engaging and trying to find a solution, and our letters are there for the public to see in terms of what we've been saying, in terms of the positions that we had, that we were willing to offer. While we're still engaging and negotiating, Michael Bowman sends out a press statement to say that they're already looking at an alternative government. Now, how do you go into a coalition meeting and engage in negotiations with another party and then make an announcement about the same people that are in the room to say you are forming a new coalition with them while they don't know about that? So this is us, a sign that suggests that there is a negotiation in bad faith, and in fact we're now getting more proof that this is something that has been orchestrated over time, because we now have emails and SMSs that show that there were people that had been engaged even before we got to this point. But it's a sad situation that instead of being here in council today, engaging and talking about service delivery, engaging and talking about how millions of people here in the city of Johannesburg are desperate for services, are desperate for work, we are now here debating about who gets what position. We're squabbling about who gets to be the next mayor, who gets to be MMCs, and I can tell you right now, there's still going to be a squabble even after the mayor has been elected, because it will be a squabble about who gets to get what position, who gets to be the speaker, and all of that.
Okay, so interactions between yourselves and Action SA, should we take those as an indication of cracks in the multi-party administration in the city of Johannesburg? And are we going to see another exit? I mean, we know the Patriotic Alliance was the first to leave the multi-party coalition. Are we going to see Action SA also exiting? I mean, they've been unhappy for some time. The first time we spoke to them, they said they were unhappy over the decision not to field an IFP candidate for the position of Speaker.
Well, again, I think that lie also needs to be dispelled, because at that time, we said let's defend their position and then look at all the positions. They didn't want to look at all the positions, because the Patriotic Alliance at that time wanted their positions at that time. They didn't want to look at it. So they were fighting amongst themselves at that particular point in time. We were unhappy, but we were looking beyond us. We were looking beyond the positions. We were more concentrating and more concerned about service delivery. And this is why we even said we will even go and look beyond, what is happening in the coalition and the backstabbing that is taking place. We are also unhappy, but we're not going to walk away if it means that along the process towards 2024 and 2026, we will be able to then coordinate and put together a reliable, stable coalition government, because that's what is going to happen in South African politics, unfortunately. We are going to have a situation where no party is going to get a 50+1, and therefore, if we don't get it right, what is going to happen to this province? What is going to happen to South Africa going forward?
Okay, certainly. Now, let's talk about that leaked letter over the weekend, where it seems as though our party leader had written to one of the coalition members talking about rejecting that deal that had been brokered by Action Coalition SA with the Patriotic Alliance, and part of the reason for that was that they felt that they'd been betrayed by the Patriotic Alliance. Your thoughts on that leaked letter and what came out of that, and was this really undermining democracy? Because it seems as though, from what we've heard, that coalition members had voted overwhelmingly for this agreement, and yet it was then, set aside.
Well, Mbali, let's set the record straight. There was no an agreement initially. It was a proposal that was on the table. It's on record. Zoom meetings are recorded. If that, can be requested of the chairperson, I'm sure South Africans would love to hear that. There was a recording whereby it was the first proposal. We came up with a second proposal. The second proposal was that, we can give them 2 MMC positions here. We can give them 2 MMC positions in the city of Ekurhuleni. But there was an uneasiness on one portfolio that they wanted. That was a conversation. That is information. Now, when I talk about people engaging in bad faith, to push certain partners, to make a decision, a letter is then leaked. A letter that is privately written to the committee to then say, this is the consensus. We didn't go out and publish our consensus. We wrote specifically to the committee to then say, these are things that we would want to have discussed. Now, somebody, by design, leak it so that the public then tend to think that we don't want the Patriot Alliance. And then the same day, this is why I'm saying this is reverse takeover. The same day, an alternative government begins to then emerge, then that tells you that really there was not an intention to form government. But let me take you a step further, and I think South Africans will love to hear this. On the day that we're finalizing the position that we're going to present, Action SA turn around in a meeting and say, we are not willing to offer that position that we wanted to offer anymore. We will actually then want to engage internally in order to offer another position. Now, if that is not engaging in bad faith, I don't know what is.
Okay. Finally, today's proceedings, we understand that the Democratic Alliance will be nominating Mpho Phalatse as Johannesburg Mayor when the council does start voting for a mayor again. But are you confident that you have the numbers to reinstate Mpho Phalatse like you did with Tanya Campbell in Ekurhuleni?
Well, we have engaged with our partners. We hope that it will hold. Our partners have indicated that they will be voting with us, and if they do vote with us and certain things do happen in council, we should then go through the first round, and we'll then take it up from the second. We'll then look into what happens in the second round.
Okay, thank you so much for speaking to us. There you have it. That is the DA leader in the Gauteng province, just talking to us about what has transpired in the events leading up to what we see happening today. Council members are about to vote and nominate a new mayor. I'm about to step inside.